Can you hear me? Is this thing on? Classic. My name is Lucy. If you know me personally, lucky you. Hey friend. If you're a follower of Monday Hustle, my now retired personal brand, nice to be communicating with you again. And if you don't know me and have never come across any of my work before, it's fantastic that you're here. Chances are we have a lot in common. On this platform, you'll hear from a bunch of researchers, doctors, creatives, and critical thinkers from around the world who look at a myriad of issues that affect the social media space. Together, we'll ask big questions and challenge the status update quo to craft a future in which our individual and collective experience on social media is the most positive it can be. Maybe, like me, you've run a personal brand, maybe you work in digital marketing, or maybe you consider yourself an everyday social media user who secretly envies Instagram fame, which we all kind of do. It's only human these days. However you've arrived to Selfie Reflective, welcome. This is a podcast that aims to help you explore and improve your relationship to social media by unpacking the experience of being online. Although I am not the expert, through reflecting on my own experience of running a personal brand on social media and by hosting guests who offer a different perspective, we'll uncover insights, information, and tools to help us improve our relationship to the platforms that suck up our attention for cash. Lots of these perspectives may resonate. Some will be entirely new, and it's likely that some will challenge you as they have me. So it's important to remember that the ideas and opinions expressed in this podcast are not binding or fixed. The truth is, we are all currently swimming in this social media experiment together, and no one has the perfect answer for how things should operate from here. With issues like privacy, data exploitation, government responsibility, and the correlation between social media and an increase in mental health issues up for debate, the landscape can feel overwhelming. Selfie Reflective exists as a space where we can unpack these issues in an accessible way and start to think critically about our relationship to these tools. With all of this information in one place, it's my hope that together we'll be able to pick the good bits and cull the bad bits to craft the future of how we operate across social media, both individually and collectively. Some lofty goals, huh? Why do I feel so motivated to launch this podcast? 2 words. Monday Hustle. In April of 2018, I dug up a photo, crafted a goodbye message to the thousands of people who followed my brand, and hit publish. After nearly 3 years of running this personal brand, I could not get offline fast enough. 3 years earlier, I just handed in a resignation letter. I was in my mid-20s and I felt unfulfilled, like I was hurtling down a path that wasn't suited to me. My CV said sales and advertising, but my aspirations were creativity and production, and there didn't seem to be a pivot in sight. After resigning, I launched Monday Hustle, a personal brand that had the intention of keeping me accountable for my new chosen path. When my first blog post went viral, I was unprepared. Okay, it didn't go viral, but it did have over 1,400 views and over 200 shares in 24 hours. And as someone who hadn't shared any part of her life on social media before, I was hooked. People who didn't know me before Monday Hustle might have called me a Luddite. I had a personal Facebook page, but I was the digital ghost friend who would see your pregnancy post and not like it or share it, but pick up the phone and demand a conversation. Old school, I know. I used Facebook to stalk people and police photos I got tagged in, but beyond that, I didn't really engage. But I felt that the only way I could make a career pivot from advertising and sales to a more creative role was to demonstrate that I had the skills, which is why I invented my platform and online alter ego, Monday Hustle. Having cast a skeptical eye over social media my entire life, I thought I was going in with eyes wide open, that I'd just be playing the game. But in the end, the game played me. Monday Hustle was a blog, a Facebook page, and an Instagram profile. For a solid and relentless year and a half, I churned out branded content like the worthiness of my life depended on it. From blogs to videos, relatable Instagram stories to polls, I went all in on the social media hustle. I spent most of my time thinking about what to write, creating videos, picking filters for photos, replying to comments, crafting Instagram stories around mundane daily activities that got bonus points if they included avocados. With all of this effort, there were definitely some payoffs. I was paid to post on Instagram. I was invited to events. Packages would miraculously turn up on my doorstep. I was even hired to work as an MC and presenter, roles that I later attributed to be the manifestation of the elusive dream I hoped for when I launched Monday Hustle in the first place. On the other side of the screen, aka on your screen, it would have looked fun. It could have looked appealing. It might have seemed bold or inspirational or aspirational even. But in real life, the lifestyle that I'd committed to, the brand ethos that I felt social accountability to represent, was taking a massive toll. See, somewhere along the way, the lines had started to blur between my online self and my real self. I'd become that friend who was anxious at social events because I had to find a good time to ask friends to get a snap of me by that cute pink wall with the Monstera plant in the frame. I was conflating my branded self and my actual self, and was making life decisions that prioritized Monday Hustle over other things. My mental health, physical health, and financial health was suffering. But I persisted because I believed that it would just take one opportunity for it to be all worthwhile, and this was, quote, all part of the hustle. Not only this, but I had an audience now. I had to keep posting, had to keep sharing, or I'd let the people down. Did my sense of self-importance also inflate because I had an Instagram profile? I also harbored a genuine fear that if I left the space or slowed down on posting, all my hard work would be undone. That any and all of my progress would stop. Who was I without Monday Hustle? I'd quit my job to do this. Wasn't I grateful for the opportunities I'd been afforded? Monday Hustle had made me. So who would I be without it? If I ever felt bad about the situation, it wasn't Monday Hustle that was the issue. It was me. Clearly, I needed more self-development, more motivation, more confidence, more gosh darn hustle. But having all of these issues was great for creating content. At the end of a year and a half, I was reaching some sort of influencer peak. In 1 week, I delivered a keynote speech. I was liaising with Pandora Radio to conduct interviews at the New Year's Festival, Rhythm and Vines. I'd been paid to MC an event and had just been featured in The Guardian for my street style. So what happens next? I snapped my Achilles. I was already in a less than healthy mental state, and now I found myself in a less than healthy physical state. So surely that would have made me slow down, take a breather, and think about my next step, right? Wrong. My snapped Achilles was the perfect way to show people how they could keep hustling through any curveball life throws. A way to demonstrate how not to let circumstances get you down. In Monday Hustle's eyes, snapping my Achilles was not a drawback, could not be a drawback. It was a branded opportunity. A month later, I re-snapped my Achilles, but still remain undeterred. But a month after that, I'm back in hospital with a post-surgical infection. Now, I don't necessarily believe in fate, that life gives you what you need at the exact time you need it, but it was only after this possible near-death life experience that I decided to maybe just shut up my content shop and focus on getting better. Despite not creating content, I was still consuming content. During my hiatus, I began to really look at the advertising and influencer content that was being promoted to me. I noticed that everything I was seeing and ingesting was making me feel like I needed and deserved better. Better health, better business, better sex, better face, better body, better mind, better job, better spa pool. And I didn't even have a spa pool, but gosh damn, the ads made me know that I deserved a better one. I also started to look objectively at the content I'd been creating and the identity I'd been performing. Knowing the full story behind particular photos, like the time I'd had to take a photo to promote a sponsored giveaway but had just been crying so I didn't face the camera, left me feeling like a fraud. Something had to change, but instead of feeling like my personal brand was the problem, for a while I thought I could just be more myself, be more authentic. I could just do better because the people deserved better. For another year, I tried to re-engage with Monday Hustle by repositioning the brand. In fact, I was trying to redirect it toward the topics that this very podcast will discuss. But after some very critical discussions, a questionnaire that elicited some harsh truths about how personally toxic Monday Hustle had become, and after getting incredibly selfie reflective, I hung up the hashtag. After having the light shone on the pitfalls of our attention economy and unpacking a few of the layers, I could no longer demand the attention of others on social media without a good reason. In April 2018, nearly 3 years after launching Monday Hustle, it ended. The Monday Hustler stopped hustling. At least on social media. But if it doesn't happen on social media, does it even really happen? Since then, I've continued to be an observer of the social media space, but haven't been actively participating. After being fed a steady diet of likes, follows, and instant feedback through running Monday Hustle, not being present on social media has at times left me feeling very empty, like I'm missing opportunities and getting left behind. The truth is, there is no replacement for the buzz I got from being on social media, from the sense that I was being seen. Maybe I'm still experiencing a type of withdrawal, but at a level that's much higher than me. Yes, I'm talking politically, socially, culturally. Social media is changing life as we know it, both online and offline, at an unprecedented pace. Do I think social media is all bad? No bloody way. But there are a few uncomfortable truths that I believe need more exploration. For example, the fact that these platforms are designed to be addictive, that the owners of these platforms own our data and they won't give it back to us, that this data is harnessed by advertisers, marketers, creatives, and even our friends who can manipulate our psychology with the mandate of getting us to click, like, and buy. That online we exist in an echo chamber of information that's based on what these platforms think they know about us. That on social media, media companies have to fight in the same competition as sensationalist propaganda and misinformation. That our online brand identities can seem more important than our real-life identities, and that kids are on social media before they can even talk. Just to name a few. But again, do I think social media is all bad? No. But it's important that we unpack these not-so-gram-worthy layers of social media with an open, non-judgmental air to ensure that we are the ones who are firmly in control of our time, our focus, our lives, and our attention. When the power of social media is harnessed positively, we have the opportunity to make a huge amount of individual and collective progress. So let's start here. I'm Lucio, and this is the Selfie Reflective Podcast. You can go right ahead and listen to episode 1 with guest Kyla Tova. Kyla helps us unpack some big issues around self-branding, wellness, and diet culture on social media. We're diving right in. If you've made it this far, it's clear you're a critical thinker, and critical thinkers hang out with other critical thinkers. So if there's someone in your network or a friend that you know who would benefit or be interested in the content of Selfie Reflective, you can help support the show by sharing this episode with just one person. If you have questions, feedback, or recommendations for the show, please send them through. I am so open to hearing all of the things. You can email selfiereflective@gmail.com or find me, somewhat ironically, on Instagram and Facebook at selfiereflective, all one word. These links are in the show notes. To be honest, I'm both excited and nervous for the things we'll uncover over the course of this podcast, so I'm really glad you're here with me. This episode was written, recorded, produced, and edited by me, Lucy O'Connor. Final podcast audio was finessed by Tom Frankish.